Very good afternoon to all. Myself, Dr. Yogesh Kumar Gupta, Department of Computer Science, Manasri Vidyapeeth. I would like to give the presentation on the topic application of AI and ML in various signal processing domains. So I'm just going to share my presentation. Wait for a few seconds. Uh, yeah, is this visible to all?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So, okay, so our topic is application of AI and ML on various domains of signal processing. And these are the outlines of our presentation, that is introduction, signal and its type, ML workflow, that is the machine learning workflow, AI and ML for signal processing, when to apply machine learning and its applications and conclusions. So let's be discussed one by one in our detail. So first come to the introduction. AI intelligence, artificial intelligence and machine learning are composer to revolutionize embedded computing sensor processing for applications like investigations and surveillance, weapons fire control, signals intelligence, and electronic warfare. The question come in our mind, what is signal actually? So in electrical engineering, the fundamental quantity of representing some information is called a signal, as we all know. It does not matter what the information is that analog or digital information. In mathematics, a signal is a function that conveys some information. In fact, any quantity measurable so time over space or any higher dimensions can be taken as a signal. A signal could be of any dimension and could be of any form. So there are some examples of the signal you can see on your screen. And these are the various stages. If the person awake with mental activity, then the speed of the signal in between the 14 to 30 hertz, that is the beta. If the person awake and in resting state, the speed of the signal between the 8 to 13 hertz, that is the alpha, you can see on your screen, the speed of the signal, the spikes moves little bit slow as the beta. In mode of sleeping, if the person goes to sleep, then the stage of theta, and in this range, in the category of the theta, the speed in between the range of 4 to 7 hertz. And the person goes deep sleep, then the speed of the signal is very low. That is delta, and the less than 3.5 you can see on your screen. So this is the most important things you need to remember, and you need to know about the categories of the signals and the speeds of the signal corresponding to the situations of the persons or signals or the data. Okay. There are two types of signal we have. First one is the analog signal, and second one is the digital signal. Now, what is the analog signal actually? Analog signal is a continuous signal. for which the time varying features of the signal is a representation of some other time varying quantity. So this is the example of the analog signal you can see on your screen. In this case, the signal is continuous, move continuously. Okay, that means in a continuous signal, there is no fixed value. The value of the signal change rapidly. Okay, according to the spikes of the signal. Okay, if we take the value at that point, is my cursor visible to you? Is my cursor is visible to you?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. If we take the value at this point and take the value of this point, this point, this point, it changes rapidly. Okay, if you want to identify the optimal value of this spike, so it is very difficult for us to find out the optimal value. So for that purpose, you have to apply the hit and try conditions or situations. In corresponding to the hit and try, you have to find out the optimal value of this spike in a analog signal. Okay, but it is very simple in case of the digital signal. Digital signal is a signal that represents a sequence of discrete value. And the example of the digital signal you can see on your screen. In this example, if we take the value of this point, so it will be 0. And if we take the value of at this point, so it will be 1. And between this, that means the value on the edges, that is the rising edge, and this is the falling edge. This is the rising edge, this is the falling edge. So at the rising and falling edge, the values of the signal lie between 0 to 1. Okay, and these are the labels of the signal. This is the 0 label and this is the 1 label. So that is the signal. Okay, now let's move further. Now, AI and ML for signal processing. We talk about AI, and if we talk about ML for signal processing, so as I already told you about the signal, a signal is a physical support of information. As we know, signal processing is the intersection of mathematics, informatics, and physical stimuli. Signals include almost all forms of data, okay, that can be digitalized, such as images, videos, audios, and many sensors data we have. Okay, mathematics is necessary to evaluate it. Informatics enables the implementation, and the physical world will generate the signal. You always keep it. Okay. Now, according to the IEEE, IEEE stand for the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering. So according to the IEEE, signal processing encapsulates our daily lives without any of us even knowing. Okay, computers, radios, videos, mobile phones are all enabled via signal processing, as we all know. Signal processing is a branch of electrical engineering that models and analyzes data representations of physical events. Okay, it is at the core of the digital world. Speech and audio, autonomous driving, image processing, wearable technology, and communication system all work thanks to signal processing. Okay, and now signal processing is starting to make some waves in artificial intelligence also, that is AI. ML for signal data, machine learning for sensors and signal data is becoming easier than ever. Hardware is becoming smaller and sensors are getting cheaper, making IoT devices widely available for a variety of applications, ranging from predictive maintenance to user behavior monitoring. You always keep in mind. Okay? Whether you are using sound, vibrations, images, electrical signals, or other kind of sensor data, you can build richer analytics by teaching a machine to detect and classify event happening in real time. Okay, at the edge, using an inexpensive microcontroller for processing even with noisy, high variations data. Okay, if we talk about the deep learning for signal data, requires extra steps when compared to applying deep learning or machine learning to other data sets. Okay, good quality signal data is hard to obtain and has so much noise and variability. You always keep it. Wideband noise, jitters, and distortion are just a few of the unwanted characteristics found in most signal data. You always keep in mind. In most of the signal data, we find noises, distortion between the signals, jitters, and many more unwanted characteristics. Okay? So as with all deep learning projects, and especially for the signal data, your success will almost always depend on how much data you have. That means the size of the data. Okay, if you have the data less than GBs, then we can say like a small categories of data. If the size of data more than GB can come in the categories of the big data, that is a massive amount of data or a huge amount of tremendous amount of data we can. Okay, so it is depend upon the size of the data and computational power of your machine. What is the capacity of your machine to process the data? So a good deep learning workstation is highly recommended. Okay. So the recommendation of the deep learning workstation is totally depend upon the size of the data and computation power. Okay. Now let's move further. Machine learning workflow. In the workflow, you can see on your screen, there are 4 steps. Create and access data set. First step we have. Thereafter, you have to do some pre-process and transform data. And after the pre-processing and transformations, develop predictive model. And after the model development, you have to accelerate and deploy your model at the real ground. So these are the 4 phases for the machine learning. So this is the workflow of the machine learning. Okay. So firstly, the process would involve, okay, let's we discuss the step one by one. Okay. So firstly, the process would involve storing, reading, and pre-processing the data. This will also involve extracting and transforming features and splitting into training and test sets. If you are planning to use a supervised learning algorithm, the data will require labeling. This is the most important thing you need to know regarding to the supervised learning. What is the supervised learning and what is the labeling of the data in a supervised learning? So first thing is that what is supervised learning actually? Okay, so in supervised learning, you train the machine using data which is well labeled. It means some data is already tagged with the correct answer. It can be compared to learning which takes place in the presence of the supervisor or a teacher or the advisor also we can say. Supervised learning that is supervised by something. Okay, a supervised learning algorithms learns from labeled training data. You always keep in mind. Labeled training data helps you to predict outcomes for unforeseen data. Okay, successfully building, scaling, and deploying accurate supervised machine learning data science model takes time and technical expertise from a team of highly skilled data scientists. Okay. Moreover, data scientists must rebuild models to make sure the insights given remains true until its data change. Okay, so that is a supervised learning. Now, thing is that how supervised learning works. So let's take in an examples corresponding to the supervised learning and to learn about the labels of the data. Okay, so let's take in an example. Suppose you want to train a machine to help you predict how long it will take you to drive home from your workplace or offices. Okay, so here you start by creating a set of labeled data. Okay, so what our purpose? Our purpose is to predict how long it will take you to drive home from your workplace. Okay, so this include the label data includes many things. First, weather condition. Okay, so the time depend upon the weather conditions. Your driving time depends upon the weather conditions. Okay, if the weather is rainy, cloudy, or clean. Okay, so according to the weather condition, the time will change. If the weather is clean, obviously you will take less time. If the weather is cloudy, obviously you will take more time. Okay, to come from the office to home. Okay, so the first label that is the weather condition. Second level of data, we have the time of the day. Okay, if you are driving a car uh, before the 9 a.m. or early in the morning, obviously you take less time for the driving to reach at home from the office, or from home to office, you will take less time. Okay, but if you are driving a car in between the 9 to 11 a.m., obviously you will take more time, because this is the office time, and at that time the traffic is very much or very high. Okay, so the second level, that is the time of the day, on which time you are driving your car. Next parameter, suppose we have a holiday. So obviously in a holiday, traffic is very less, so you will take less time. And the next more parameter, we have the route. Okay, which one is the better route to drive the car? And for that purpose, you have to use shortest path algorithm. Okay, so these are the levels. According to the situations, you have to choose it. That is the weather conditions, time of the day, holidays, and routes. Okay, all these details are your input. The output is the amount of time it took to drive back home on that specific day. Okay, you automatically know that if it's raining outside, then it will take you longer to drive home. But the machine needs data and statistics. Without data, machine never will work. Okay, so let's see now how you can develop a supervised learning model for this example, which help the user to determine the commute time. Okay, so the first thing you require to create is a training data set. That is the most important thing. You need to know that is a training data set. This training set will contain the total commute time and corresponding factors like weather, time, holidays, okay, routes, etc. Based on this training set, your machine might see there is a direct relationship between the amount of rain and time you will take to get the home. Okay, so it ascertains that the more it rains, the longer you will be driving to get back to your home. It might also see the connection between the time you leave work and the time you will be on the road. Okay, so the closer you are at 6 p.m., suppose, the longer time it takes for you to get home. Okay, because uh, at 6 p.m. the traffic is very high at the or in the crowded area or in the city. Your machine may find some of the relationship between or with the help of the label data. Okay, so this is the start of your data model. You always keep it. It begins to impact how rain impacts the way people drive. It also start to see that more people travel during a particular time of the day. So this is the thing, and this is the way the supervised learning works. Okay. So again, come to the workflow of the machine learning. Okay. If you are planning of the supervised learning, then the data will require a labeling. Okay. And as I already told you about the labeling, how to decide the labels and how to decide the conditions on which the time will change and on which the situation will change. Okay. And after doing that, visualizing the data will be a key to identify the type of pre-processing and feature extraction techniques that will be required. There are lots of feature extraction techniques here. You can use a GLCM, you can use a Fourier transform, discrete Fourier transform, fast Fourier transform. There are lots of techniques we have, and there are different kind of features we have. Okay, so for signal processing, visualizing is required in the time. You always keep it. Frequency and time frequency domain for proper exploration. Once the data has been visualized, it will necessary to transform and extract features from the data such as peaks, change points, and signal patterns, and corresponding to the spikes of the signal and the movements of the signal. You have to find out, you have to extract the features. Okay, and after extracting the features and after completing the step 2, come to the step 3. You have to develop your predictive model. Okay, because in the feature extractions we have the label, we have the features data. Okay, so you have to develop your predictive model as per the requirement of the given problem. Okay, and thereafter accelerate and deploy your model for the testing and processing of the signal data in a machine learning environment. Okay, so this is the workflow of machine learning. So first you have to acquire the data, and thereafter you have to do some supervised learning or unsupervised learning you have to do. And corresponding to the supervised learning, you have to set some data labeling. And thereafter, you have to do some pre-processing steps, then transform the data, and then extract the features from that. Okay, and corresponding to the features, you have to create your training data set. Okay, and on the behalf of the training data set, you have to develop your predictive models that achieve your requirement and your goal. And thereafter, you have to accelerate and deploy your model in the machine learning environment. So this is the workflow of the machine learning. Okay. Now come to the next one. When to apply machine learning? This is the most important thing. Humans are unable to explain their expertise. For example, like speech recognition, vision, and language. These are the three main factors corresponding to the expertise of the book. So you have to, if you want to recognize a speech, then you can use a machine learning algorithm. Okay. If you want to visualize the vision, language, if you want to detect, then you can use a machine learning algorithm. Another one we have solution changes with time. Taken an examples corresponding to that, like a tracking the location of the vehicles, noise cancellation, adaptive filtering. There are lots of examples corresponding to that. That change corresponding to the or according to the time. Next, we have solutions need to be adapted to particular cases for the biometrics, personalizations, and medical science data also. For visualizing the particular area, for visualizing the ROI reason, you can use a machine learning algorithm. Okay. Now come to next, applications of machine learning and AI in signal processing. Okay. So there are lots of applications of AI and ML corresponding to the signal processing domain. But I have summarizes most of the applications into 4 categories. You can see on your screen. The first application, that is the aerospace, defense and communications. Second one is consumer electronics and digital health. Okay. Third application, we have automotive industries, for the industries. And the next one we have industrial automation. Okay. So there are lots of application, and most of the application summarizes in these 4 areas. Okay. So let's we discuss one by one in our detail. So first, aerospace, defense and communications. Okay. If we talk about the military sensor and signal processing technologies are going through revolutionary improvement and offer to bring big enhancement to applications like radar, electronic warfare, signal intelligence. This is the most important. High performance is computing and anti-submarine warfare. If we more emphasize on this topic, big enablers that have been coming online over the past years or so include artificial intelligence, AI and ML, for so-called smart sensors, open systems industry standards like the sensor open system architecture. This is the most important terminology, SOSA, that is used in a AI and ML. New architectures for field programmable gate array, information security, fast networking over copper and optical interface. and fast analog to digital and digital to analog conversion. Okay. With this enhancement, or with these enhancement, system designers can process more data than ever before, reduce size, weight, and power consumption. That is a terminology like a SWAP, SWAP. That is size, weight, and power consumption. You always keep in mind that is a SWAP. Free up slots in the embedded computing and closer for additional capabilities and place high performance sensor and signal processing as close to receiver antennas as possible in SWAP. Okay, constrained applications like unmanned vehicles. If we talk about more the signal, yet another trend in sensor and signal processing is blending AI. Have you heard this term like a blending AI? This is the most important terminology in artificial intelligence, that is a blending and machine learning into system design. There is a trend in the past couple of years where sensors are gaining more intelligence and interfaces go between sensors and processing modules sitting behind that. Blending AI or BAI into signal and sensor processing is still is in its infancy, but is gaining momentum quickly. It's still fairly new, and there is a lots of hype around it. You always keep it. Still, there is a need to understand how to make the best use of it, where it fits and doesn't fit. Okay. Signal intelligence applications in particular are covering in data. Okay. AI has the potential to make a quick analysis of incoming data streams, determine what data to keep and what to throw out. Okay, so machine learning can be really good at figuring out what data is static and what you want to look at. It can make our mission at a lot more efficient. Okay, so machine learning algorithm first to determine what data to keep and what to throw out. Okay, and it also used to extract the insights from the massive volume of data also. Okay? So let's take an example of signal intelligence. Suppose you have a 2 hours mission that gather 10 terabytes of encrypted data per hour. Okay, you have 2 hours, and per hour you have to your mission is to gather 10 terabyte of encrypted data. That means 20 terabytes of data take up a lot of storage. Okay, but with machine learning, we might be able to some tracking and use 4 terabyte of data out of the 20 terabyte of data. Okay, so machine learning algorithm help us to determine what data to keep and what to throw out. Okay, so we have 20 terabytes of data, out of which machine learning help us to determine 4 terabyte of data. Okay, it is an example. It may be a 2 terabyte of data. It may be a 1 terabyte of data. It may be a data in the form of the gigabyte also. Okay, so that is totally depend upon the size and computation power of your machine. Okay, so ML and AI play a very big role in the aerospace, defense, and communications. Okay, now let's move to the second applications, consumer electronics and digital health. Recently, significant development have been achieved in the field of artificial intelligence or AI. In particular, introduction of deep learning technology that has improved the learning and prediction accuracy to unprecedented levels, especially when dealing with big data and high resolution images. Big data, that means a massive volume of data, a tremendous amount of data. Significant developments have occurred in the area of medical signal processing. This is the most important area you need to focus. Measurement techniques and health monitoring, such as vital biological signs for biomedical systems, and noise and vibrations of the mechanical system, which are carried out by instruments that generate large data set or big data. In addition to the growth in population that has resulted in big data sets, okay, and that require AI techniques to analyze them all. This is the most important. Okay, so the machine learning algorithm, ML and AI play a very big role in consumer electronics for the signal processing and digital health, or we can say like a healthcare science. Okay, because if you want to analyze the signals corresponding to the heartbeat of the patient, okay, so the signals corresponding to the heartbeat, that is the spike, or that is a continuous wave. If the signal moves continuously, that means the person's alive. If the straight line, that means system, that means the person go. Okay. So the ML and AI play a very big role in the case of the medical science. This is an example. It's one of the example of the medical science. There are lots of things corresponding to the medical for the signal data. Okay. Now let's move to the next applications, that is automotive. talk about the automotive, most manufacturing operation in automotive industries are still largely depend upon experience based human disease. You always keep it. This totally depend on experience based human disease, and that is a part of AI. You always keep it. This emerges of big data in conjunction with machine learning in automotive companies has covered a way that is helping bring operational and business transformations, thereby leading to an increased level of accuracy in decision making and improved performance. Okay. Another thing is that in case of the automotive industries, machine learning algorithm can accurately incorporate analysis result of customer feedback in social media. You always keep in mind. For example, text and tweet analytics. Okay, so machine learning algorithm analyze the customer feedback in social media sites like a Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram. There are lots of social media sites we have corresponding to the text and tweets analytics. This helps in building vehicles and subsystem performance for guiding future product design. It also helps in detecting failure patterns. This is the most important thing you need to remember, that is the failure patterns for establishing a relationship between the failure and the cause of failure. Okay, taken an example of an automotive company that find out the cause of the failure in several operations in the car. Okay, several operations in the car is associated with reason specific issues such as fuel quality, climate conditions, road infrastructure, and so on. These are the labeled, as we already discussed in our supervised learning. Okay, so these are the another labeled corresponding to the car, that is associated with the car. That is fuel quality, climate conditions, and road infrastructure and the road conditions. So corresponding to the three labels, quality of the fuel, climate condition, and road conditions, the mileage of your car will change. Okay, so this company can make use of machine learning system for developing reason specific customization that can improve product reliability. You always keep in. Okay, so machine learning help us or help to the developers, automotive developers, okay, to know the conditions of the fuel, quality of the fuel, climate conditions, and road infrastructures. Okay, see what is the mileage of the car corresponding to in these situations, in the brush situation or in the good situation. Okay, if we purchase a car, then companies quote a mileage of a car. Okay, in the city, in the situation of the crowded area, okay, in the remote area, okay, or according to the conditions of the weather. Okay, they are the company predict the mileage of the car corresponding to the machine learning algorithm. Okay. Another thing we have in the machine learning algorithm can aid in effective planning and execution of predictive maintenance also. Predictive maintenance employs monitoring and predictions modeling for determining the condition of the machine and for predicting what is likely to fail when it is going to happen. Machine learning systems can help in adjusting maintenance interval also, where where the same maintenance is conducted while shifted backwards or forwards in the time or mileage of the car. Thus, machine learning system can enhance predictive maintenance capabilities and help us in accurate prediction of future failure instead of diagnosing already existing. Okay, so there is another application of machine learning algorithm, okay, that enable the predictive maintenance. Okay, another thing is that machine learning facilitates personalization and smart personal assistance. It incorporates analysis results and learns traits of user personality, thereby creating user specific profile, which can then be leveraged to provide personalization and assistance. Okay, so it increase or enhance the overall in vehicle user experience also. Okay, so this is the most important thing in our automotive. Another thing we have corresponding to the machine learning algorithm, it can be quite useful in solving automotive domain problems. But organizations implementing big data analytics and machine learning system must know how to select and correct how to select the correct algorithm and feature vector for a specific problem domain. You always see. Selecting correct features, vector requires domain experts. And selecting correct algorithm requires experienced data scientists. You always see. Once they know how to define the problem domain and business objective and validate the selected algorithm in terms of the functionality and performance matrix. Machine learning system can accurately demonstrate tangible business benefits. So machine learning algorithm play a very big role in our automotive. Okay, to know about the condition of the car, maintenance of the car, mileage of the car, and user experience also. Okay, so it play a very big role in this area. Now come to the next applications, that is industrial automation. So industrial automation is categorized into three categories, that is the monitoring, optimizations, and control. Okay, so let's be discuss one by one. So first, that is monitoring. In industrial scenario, there is a continuous need to monitor the performance of the system and processes to identify or predict fault or other situations likely to produce undesirable results. This is the most important. Using machine learning and AI, models can be trained on available data to learn the internal opaque state of complex system. These models can then be queried to predict the system future state. Given a set of input data, there are many examples of monitoring applications that benefits from an AI-based approach. Okay, so we have four main advantages or benefits, that is the quality control, fault detection and isolation, predictive maintenance, and supply chain risk management. Okay, so these are the four benefits of the monitoring. Now let's come to the second one, that is the optimization. If we talk about the optimization, AI-based planning and decision support system go a step beyond monitoring and allow users to determine a path or plan for getting to a desired system state in a way that optimizes a target set of business matrices. You always keep in mind that in classical academic artificial intelligence or AI circles, planning refer to a specific category of problem, often formulated with unrealistic constraints such as offline agents operating in statistic deterministic environment also. Okay, optimization activities that can benefit from the application of AI and ML include in the industrial automations like a process planning. So AI and ML help industrial analyst or developer to plan the process, job shop scheduling, yield management, anticipatory logistic and supply chain management. This is the most important point in an optimization. Product design, facilities, locations. Okay, so AI and ML play a very big role in industrial automations to optimize the process planning, job scheduling, management, supply chain management, product design, facilities, locations, and many more. Okay. Now let's come to the next parameter, that is a control. Control system ultimately forms the heart of any modern industrial operations and are required by organizations that seek to robe the full benefit of automation. Within the real-time control, there are many examples of applications that benefits more artificial intelligence and machine learning. These includes robotics, autonomous vehicles, factory automations, and smart grids. So machine learning, ML, and AI play a very big role in robotics. Obviously, as we all know that robots work on the artificial intelligence and the ML, we just provide the instructions to the robot, and corresponding to that, AI treat the instructions in a right way, and corresponding to that, the robot perform the actions. Okay, so these are the various applications of AI and ML in signal processing domain. Everything in the form of the signal. You always see. Without statistics and without signal data, processing is not possible. So first you have to acquire the statistical data or signal data, and thereafter you have to apply the ML and AI algorithm for the processing of the data. Okay. Now the conclusion, the unifying themes in these applications is that the data is not images, but signals coming from different type of sensors like microphones, electrodes, radar, RF receivers, accelerometer in cars, and vibration sensors. These are the various type of sensors from where we can collect the signal data. Okay? The collection of large signal data set is enabling engineers to explore new and exciting deep learning applications. Okay. From a theoretical perspective, there are many problems in signal processing, like a filter design. This is the real-time problem. And machine learning, that is ASBN. That can be formulated as convex optimization problem. Okay, so there are many problems in a signal processing. For the research perspective, you have to identify it first. I'm just giving you the one example, that is a filter design. This is a real-time problem, the current scenario, and the machine learning SBM that can be formulated as an optimization problem. More generally, optimizations play a large role in both fields. In many cases, The optimization's problem is to minimize some functions of noise, uncertainty subject to constraints that can be tuned depending on the applications. To a certain extent, you can loosely think of the problem of determining weights which maximize the likelihood function in a logistic regression problem. You always keep in mind that is a logistic regression problem as analogous to determine the FIR filter taps that may minimize ripple over some frequency band of interest. If we talk about the practical approach or in the practical perspective, it is often necessary to combine techniques from both signal processing and machine learning to improve prediction accuracy. For example, signals from sensors on wearable devices that contain data that corresponds to human movements, the data can be quite noisy and it is necessary to perform classical signal processing techniques such as sample rate conversion. This is the most important technique. Sample rate conversion and filtering to pre-process the data, which is then used for feature extraction. As a result, the training data that is collected is dependent on the filtering parameter that were used to pre-process data, and it is important to consider these parameters while evaluating the efficiency of a predictive model that uses such training data. Okay. In addition, machine learning algorithm implemented on hardware and embedded software. Uh, let's take an example like a DSP chip, that is digital signal processing chip, that have traditionally been designed to accommodate signal processing operation such as convolution and FFT, that is a fast Fourier transform. There are applications such as fitness wearable in which latency and power consumptions will need to be considered when the hardware performs both signal processing and machine learning algorithm or operation. Okay? Thus, there will be a greater independency between signal processing, machine learning, and low-level software design in application on resource constraints devices. Okay. One of the various fields where radio processing can be applied in medical data, which can help millions of lives all around the world. This process can take healthcare to another level by presenting our data gold mine to the scientists. The very first attempt of its kind was by an IVM group that used previous recorded blood sample to determine if there were any traces of cancer in it today. Okay? Today, the process has evolved a lot. Google DeepMind is working with cancerous tissues to understand how radiations can be further improved. This type of cutting edge application in healthcare is exactly the right place to start using signal processing in machine learning. Okay, so ML and AI play a very big role in medical science also. And there are lots of MNCs or multinational companies like an IBM, TCS, Microsoft, Google work in this area for the analysis of the data and for predicting the cancer corresponding to the tissues in a medical image or corresponding to the blood sample. Okay, they have to identify the tissues, the cancerous tissues in a blood cells using the machine learning algorithm and AI tools. Okay, and that help us and doctors to know the conditions of the patient, the problem of the patient. Okay, so there are lots of things in a medical, in a ML and AI. Okay, and you must have to remember the workflow of the ML. This is the most important diagram to work in an ML or in a machine learning. Okay, so first you have to acquire the data from any of the source, that is depending upon your problem. What problem you have, corresponding to that you have to acquire the data, and thereafter you have to set the labeling data. You have to set the, or you have to identify the data labels corresponding to the supervised learning. Okay, and corresponding to that you have to perform some pre-processing operation on that. Pre-processing, that means you have to do some cleaning tasks, remove the noises, remove the blurring, enhance the quality of the data. Okay, restructured the data, transform the data, and there are lots of things corresponding to it. And after the pre-processing, you have to do the feature abstraction. And corresponding to the features, you have to build a feature vector. That is your data set corresponding to the problem. Okay, and on the behalf of that feature vector, you have to develop your predictive model that help us and that help to the researchers to identify the problem. Okay, to identify the problem, the solution of the problem, to identify the solutions of the problem. And after the development of the predictive models, you have to accelerate and deploy on the real ground. Okay, so this is the most important thing you need. Okay, so in the real ground, AI and ML play a very big role in a digital signal processing domain or in a signal processing domain. Okay. Thank you. Do you have any doubt or any questions?
Yes, participants, are there any questions from your side? If there are any questions, you can put it in Q&A section.